600 of your smell genes are broken on purpose. Not damaged, not diseased. Switched off one by one across 1,000,000 years of your ancestry, until the sense that once ran your whole life became the one you barely notice. You have around 1,000 genes built to detect odor. More than half of them no longer work. Scientists call the dead ones pseudogenes, genes that still sit in your DNA like unplugged wires, coiled and useless. You are carrying the wreckage of a superpower. And here is the strange part. It didn't rot away by accident. Something inside your lineage decided the trade was worth it. Start with what your ancestors actually had. Picture a small primate in an African forest, 40 million years before anyone drew on a cave wall. Its world arrives through the nose. It smells ripe fruit 3 trees over. It smells the specific individual who passed this branch an hour ago. It smells fear on another animal, illness on its own kin, water on the wind before the ground even feels wet. The nose is not a decoration on its face. The nose is the news feed, the map, the alarm system, the social network, all running at once. That is not a fantasy. Geneticist Yoav Gilad and his colleagues studied the olfactory genes across primates and found something clean and brutal. As certain primates evolved full-color vision, the 3-cone kind that lets you tell a red berry from a green leaf, their smell genes went dark at a faster rate. Eyes gained, nose lost. The species that could suddenly see the ripe fruit no longer needed to smell it from a distance. Evolution does not hoard tools it stopped using. It lets them break and moves the resources elsewhere. So you inherited the eyes, and you inherited the ruins of the nose. But that is only half the story, and this is where the neat little tale starts to crack. Because losing the genes did not actually make you bad at smelling. That is the twist most people never hear. For 150 years, everyone repeated the same fact. Humans have a terrible sense of smell. Dogs are the gods of scent, and you are a nearly blind passenger. Where did that come from? A neuroscientist named John McGann went looking, and in a 2017 paper in the journal Science, he traced it back to one man, Paul Broca, a French anatomist in the 19th century. Broca noticed that the human brain has a relatively small olfactory bulb, the little forward structure that processes smell, compared to the rest of our big brain. From that ratio alone, without a single experiment on actual smelling, he declared humans a species that had traded scent for free will and intellect. The idea was tidy. It fit the story people wanted to believe about themselves. And it was wrong. Because when you actually test human noses, the numbers are absurd. Your olfactory bulb holds roughly the same number of neurons as a mouse's or a rat's. You can distinguish somewhere in the range of billions of distinct odors. The exact ceiling is debated, but it dwarfs the old assumption of a few thousand. You detect certain compounds at concentrations lower than sophisticated lab instruments. The hardware never left. It was slandered. So if you still have the machinery and half the genes, why does it feel like you smell almost nothing all day? Hold that question. It has an uncomfortable answer. First, watch what your nose can still do when you force it. In 2007, a team led by Jess Porter in Noam Sobel's laboratory ran an experiment that sounds like a joke until you see the footage. They laid a scent trail across an open field of grass, a length of twine soaked in chocolate essential oil. Then they blindfolded university students, plugged their ears, covered their hands and knees, and told them to follow it. Nose to the ground. Like a dog, they did it. Ordinary people, no training, tracked an invisible chocolate trail through grass using nothing but smell. And when the researchers let them practice, they got faster and more accurate over just a few days. The nose was not the limit. The habit was. 2 nostrils turned out to matter too. Block one, and tracking gets worse, because your brain compares the signal from each side to find direction, the way 2 ears let you locate a sound. You have sense stereo. You just never turn it on. Now push further, out of the lab and onto real ground. In the Kalahari, among the Juhansi and other San peoples, tracking is not a party trick. It is a way of eating. Anthropologists and trackers like Louis Liebenberg, who spent years learning from San hunters and wrote The Art of Tracking, describe reading the land as a continuous stream of information, the age of a print, the direction of a broken stem, and yes, scent layered into the whole picture. A skilled tracker reconstructs an animal that is nowhere in sight, building it out of traces most people walk straight over. This is the world your genus lived in for its entire existence. The senses were not hobbies. They were the difference between the family eating tonight and the family not eating. So you have to ask the honest question about yourself. If the equipment still works, if strangers can track chocolate through if humans across the world still read scent when their lives depend on it, then what exactly did you throw away? Here is the answer, and it is not the one Broca gave. You did not lose the sense. You demoted it. Think about your day. You wake up and the first thing that grabs you is a screen, light, text, color, motion. You move through rooms scrubbed of odor, past food sealed in plastic, air conditioned into blankness, your own scent scrubbed off with soap and covered with a fragrance chosen by a marketing team. Your ancestors' world screamed information at the nose every second. Your world is deliberately, aggressively deodorized. The channel is open. There is just nothing being broadcast. And when something is, you have been trained since childhood to ignore it and trust your eyes instead. But your body never got the memo that smell stopped mattering. And that is the eeriest evidence of all. Consider where smell plugs into your brain. Almost every other sense, sight, sound, touch, routes first through a central relay station called the thalamus before reaching the higher brain. Smell skips it. The olfactory signal runs almost directly into the limbic system, into the amygdala, which handles emotion, and the hippocampus, which builds memory. Smell is the only sense wired straight into the machinery of feeling and remembering, with no polite introduction in between. That is why a single scent can drop you through 40 years in half a second. The smell of a specific soap, a certain rain on hot pavement, a grandparent's kitchen, and you are not remembering it, you are back inside it, with the emotion fully loaded before you can name why. Your visual memories fade and blur. Your scent memories ambush you intact. The sense you were told is vestigial and unimportant is welded directly to who you are. This is the part your ancestors would find insane about you. Not that you have weaker noses, you don't. It's that you're carrying a sense built straight into memory and emotion, a sense that can track prey across a field and recognize a person in the dark, and you spend your life pretending it isn't there. And the loss is not only nostalgic, it is medical, because that direct wiring runs both ways. When the sense of smell starts to fade, it is often one of the earliest warnings that something is wrong deep in the brain. A loss of smell can precede the diagnosis of Parkinson's or Alzheimer's by years, because the neural tissue that processes odor is among the first to be touched. The nose is not just a relic of an old superpower. It is a window into the state of the brain behind it. Ignore it long enough, and you miss the alarm your ancestors would never have slept through. So go back to the beginning. Go back to that small primate reading the forest through its nose, and to the human trackers reading the Kalahari, and to the students crawling through grass with their eyes covered, rediscovering in an afternoon a skill their species spent millions of years perfecting. The evidence stacks up in one direction. The genes broke, yes, 600 unplugged wires in your DNA, but the sense itself did not die. Your brain simply turned the volume down and pointed you at a screen. And now think about what your ancestors could read in the air that you walk through blind. The person who is afraid before they say a word. The illness on someone's breath. The rain an hour before it falls. The rot in food that looks perfectly fine. That information is still arriving. It still lands without a relay in the oldest and most emotional part of your brain. You have simply stopped listening. Try this once. Walk outside after rain and breathe in slowly, deliberately, the way your grandmother's kitchen still lives somewhere in your skull. Notice how much is there the instant you decide to notice. That is not a lost sense. That is a sense standing at a door you keep closed. 600 of your smell genes are broken. The one thing they were never able to break was you noticing, and you're the one who stopped.